That's right. So I really wanted to really get into it and share a little bit more. So I want to get into who I am first, and then I'll come back to the things that I've done. So joining the military, there are usually three types of people who join. People join the military for who are patriotic. They really want to serve the country. Then you have the ones that they have no idea where they want to go after high school. So this is an easy route. You don't have to go to college. You know, you've been in school for 12 years. You don't really want to go back. And then you have the ones who join because they want to get out of a certain situation. And that's where I kind of fell into that pot. Growing up, I was the oldest of 5 girls. So it was probably around the age of 18 when I realized my mother had hydrocephalus, so it was fluid on the brain, and she kept going back and forth to the hospital. We were unsure of what the outcome was going to be, so I actually got accepted into college and everything, but decided not to go because I wanted to make sure that I can provide for my sisters had, anything detrimental actually happen. So when people usually ask, what does Veterans Day mean? It means a lot more to me, and I'll come back to some points regarding that at the very end. So I decided to join directly out of high school. First duty station, Yokosuka, Japan. Now, mind you, I'm from Florida. I've never been away from my family. The closest we've been to any other place has been Georgia, or maybe Alabama. Georgia or Alabama. So to take me from here and go all the way to Japan, it was drastic. I was stationed on board the USS George Washington, which is one of the oldest carriers. They actually are just starting to decommission it. So they did a whole swap. I wish I would have stayed for that. I missed that. I was there for 5 years, and I'm 18 at this point. So I'm in Japan. We're on deployment. It was a forward deployed carrier. So every 6 months we were on deployment. Every 6 months. So I've been to Singapore. I've been to Guam, Busan, Korea, Australia. I love Australia. A few more other places. And that was pretty big for me at that age because I had no idea that I would experience those things, age of 18. I was also managing a $400,000 operating budget for weapons department. So let me go back a little bit because here you see aviation ordnance. Aviation ordnance in the Navy is the people who build the bombs. They assemble any weapons and ammunition, and they load them onto aircraft. These bombs go all the way up into to 1,000 pounds. A, right? So I wasn't useless because my hands are kind of small, so I could connect the cables. I can get into certain areas where many people couldn't reach. So I was pretty useful in where it mattered. Let's say that. And I would go on these load missions as well. I would go up and hand hump a bomb. I do have a photo of it. I wish I would have sent it to Zach so you could see it. We're actually hand humping bombs. I also have a photo from the fantail shooting off a 50 caliber gun. It's bigger than me. I'm just like this, by the way. So for me, it was necessary for me to find a path where I could work a little bit smarter. And be more effective. So I took on different roles to get that operating budget. I was the reply parts petty officer, where I managed the supplies for the entire department. I went from there into compliance, where I just made sure all of the instructions for how to load the ammunition, how to ensure that we were in safety compliance. And that's kind of where I ended up basically started. So I got into that after I left Yokosuka, Japan. I went to Lemoore, California to a squadron. Now, ship life and squadron life is completely different. It's literally apples and oranges. So on the ship, you have a job, and you possibly go down to the magazine. So the magazine, we have different ammunition inside of the magazine. Is like 7 decks below, the main deck of the ship. So at the very bottom. And you go down there, majority of the time, I'll be honest with you, we wake up to go back to sleep. So it wasn't a lot of work going on until we start doing missions. And because we were on deployment so often, it was second nature. Like, we go do this, tie down the hatches, blah blah blah. It was to us, it became easy. Like, it was like, oh, this is a joke. And sometimes we had one serious experience, and we were actually being followed by a sub. It was unidentified, so it was crazy, because usually when we go into general quarters, it's for practice, but this is real. So everyone's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm like, man, like, you begin to realize, like, you signed up for this, not realizing that all of this comes with it as well. So that was the first real, like, shaking moment, and I was like, okay, cool. But the people were there. You grow so close to these people. Like, it's not just a work environment. You truly fall in love with, like, being able to connect with the individuals around you. So that's my second one. The friends that I was able to make in this space. So it allows you to be able to do your job. If anything was to happen, you understood your role, your position. You knew that you had to execute in order for your family that was around you to be good and be sustainable as well. So fast forward to that, I've been in for maybe 5 years at this point, and it became repetitive for me. So I just wanted something different, and I decided, I wanted to get out to go to school. And I actually ended up completing my bachelor's degree while active duty. I was taking a lot of online classes. One thing that people don't know is that on the ship, they actually fly instructors to live on board the ship with us to teach courses. Yeah, so you can take classes on the ship, which is pretty cool. So you go to work, and it was 12 on, 12 off. So you either went to work, went to class, or you went to work and you went to your rack. Like, or you could play around on the mess decks, but they'll run you out of there after a while. Most people would go on the mess decks and play cards, and they like, all right, you gotta go. Yeah. So I finished that bachelor's degree while active duty. I tapped into my Montgomery GI Bill just like maybe for my final course. So when I separated, I got accepted into Nova for the MBA program, and I didn't get a chance to complete it because, so the Montgomery GI Bill and the post 9/11, they have like, they achieve the same goal and help you get through school, but the post 9/11 is actually to help support you for on campus experiences. Montgomery GI Bill is more if you're taking online classes or you're going to a technical school, because they don't necessarily give you, the stipend to help you pay for your bills and that as well. So I went there, and they told me you basically can't use your post 9/11 GI Bill because you already tapped into your Montgomery GI Bill. So you had to complete the 36 months. Actually, it was 34 months because I used 2. So you had to complete those 34 months in order to get 1 year of the post 9/11. So I'm like, how does this even make sense? Like, it's 34 months. Like, just switch it over. So I went through like a claims process, and I honestly got fed up with it. So I just like, okay, let me go find a job. And I started working at this pharmaceutical company where I was actually doing the opposite and selling supplies to the government at that point. So I learned the benefits of procurement, and then I started after the connections I made with them. So kind of try to leverage those, and also getting certified as a veteran-owned, women-owned, minority-owned business, leverage those certifications and the connections that I had with this company to start selling products and services to the government myself. And after that, I started realizing the benefits of it and how many people would really ask me, how did you get into this? Like, can you help me? Like, of course I can. But then I realized that consulting process it took a lot more time away from my business than I expected to, and of course I wasn't charging enough, so I was really lowballing myself and making it harder to keep up with my bills at the same time. So decided to stop doing that and went through a accelerator program at Broward College with a career source, in partnership with Career Source. It's called Startup Now, and I actually went through this accelerator. I tested out 2 other business ideas that just completely did not pan out. So this WA was not my first business idea. I had an idea to create memorabilia. Have you ever seen the casting and molding of, like, maybe if you're pregnant, the tummy or the little baby feet? No? oh man, I was in love with it. I saw a video online. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. And I'm like, okay. So I started testing out the model, doing market research. I was interviewing people. Hey, would you buy this? Or would you do this? And people were like, no. So I'm like, okay. Step back a little bit. So my instructor said, maybe you should start it as a pop-up shop. Like the idea of sip and paint. You go and, you know, it's an event. So maybe do it something like that. You know, you can still keep that idea, but do it. And I went back, you know, I'm asking people. I'm like literally chasing pregnant women in Walmart. So it was kind of creepy. I know, right? So I would ask them, I'm like, is this something that you would do? Like, you know, maybe at your baby shower, or maybe you have a family event and everyone comes together and, you know, you really create this moment. And people were like, no. So I'm like, okay. So I got the idea to, let's do this. How about we make it easier to locate pop-up shops? Because I always want to know, like, what kind of pop-up shops are going on. Maybe it's a Saturday and I'm out. Maybe it's a pop-up shop around the corner and I don't know about it. So I said, wow, that'd be a good idea, a pop-up locator. So I created Pop-Up Bee, and I did some more market research, and I realized that there was a company in the market, and this actually deterred me at that point. Nowadays, it wouldn't deter me. But there's a company that actually received, I think it was $1.5 million investment to create this marketplace. So I said, all right, cool. And honestly, I was enjoying the class so much that I was not like terrified that my business ideas were not panning out. But I didn't want to get kicked out of the class, because you can't be in the class if you don't have a business. So I went to my instructor and I said, Nancy, I love this, like, and I really do not want to get out of this class, but I don't know what to do. And she said, stick to what you know. And that's when it came back to me, when people asking, can you help me? Can you do this for me? I decided, okay, we can do this, but let's simplify the process. So what Govlier is, we're a software company. We created a software platform to simplify the way small businesses sell to state and local government agencies. So right now, well, I live in Broward, so Broward has 31 cities, including the county. The county's procurement process is completely different from everyone's, and all 31 cities have a different procurement process. But with our software, a business will be able to create one profile and use that same profile to get registered, certified, and bid on opportunities with multiple agencies. So we launched the MVP and started working with the city of Miramar and Broward College. They definitely want to continue supporting us. So we started working with them, and we had a lot of bugs in our software. Like, the amount of bugs was just like, throw it away. But we didn't. We started to work with a new development team who could actually see the vision, and they gave us the prototype, or not the prototype, the wireframes. And we basically have been working with them to start building out the new version of the platform, where we're planning to launch in January. But in the meantime, we've been doing different workshops and trainings in partnership with, you know, Urban League, Florida Department of Economic Opportunity, to really just start generating some revenue, because I want to continue to do this. I feel like this has become a part of my, you know, passion, my mission, honestly, in life. I enjoy it, and so more than simplifying the process for the government and businesses to sell, help small businesses be able to grow through doing business with the government. Increasing the number of women-owned, minority-owned, and veteran-owned businesses that are actually selling to the government agencies to grow their businesses, but ultimately the communities that they support underneath them. So that's how I got into that. And one thing I realized is, man, I wish I would have known about this technology stuff when I was growing up. And one of my friends, we actually came up with the idea to help youth understand how to leverage technology to create their own economic opportunity. And that's called Code to E. So it's a nonprofit organization, and what we do is we help teens actually create their own e-commerce websites. So one of the students in our program, he actually had a really simple idea to help his grandmother coupons. So he wanted to create something that would help his grandmother sell her products. So we helped him to learn how to leverage the websites in terms of like WordPress, but also utilizing things like Facebook, like Instagram, to show what products are available and to build a community around it. So that's been pretty good. But in the meantime, that's what we work on. I focus more on Govlier, but we just started Code to Eat out of, pure necessity. Like, just literally, you can make a website, and we did our first course in 5 days. Then we condensed it down to 3 days. So just to show them, like, this is what you do. All the documentation is out there. Like, teaching them how to research, because that's one of the biggest things I feel like a lot of the younger generation, like the students, aren't really doing as much, because everything is like literally right there for them. So we want to teach them how to research, how to read documentation, and how to implement these tools and resources to, create their own. So just to tie it all back in. So when people usually ask, what does Veterans Day mean to me? It means a lot. It means me being able to be put in a position to where I can help my family, but to ultimately help other families. It means the sacrifices that not only I had to endure, but my family as well. One of my younger sisters, recently, we, just like families do, we had an argument. And one of the things she told me, and it literally broke my heart, like I still tear up thinking about it, is that you've never been there for me. You've never been a big sister to me. And it broke my heart, because I felt like everything I did was because of you. I decided to do this because of you. So for us to be in that position, I was like, man, like, you don't usually realize the toll that it takes on everyone else until, you're faced with having those conversations. So in addition to that, I've gained a lot of family outside of the family that I already had, that will literally drop everything to do whatever they can to help you. So it's the community aspect of it as well. And I think those are my 3 takeaways in terms of, what does Veterans Day mean? So thank you for allowing me to share. Thank you for sitting here listening to me. I appreciate it. Thank you.